we'll continue with our material, we'll continue with our labor variances. Okay, now in the last lecture we all had started away with labor variances, so we'll continue with that. Okay, see, now labor variances as such obviously depend upon output, so that's what we are going to be dealing with. It depends upon output. If it depends upon output, then in that particular case, this is whatever we all have done so far. So therefore you all have type. Then in this case, you all have given standard, you all have revised standard, and then in this case, you all have actual. Whatever is the output that is given to you, how many hours it should have taken, at what rate worker should have been paid, what should have been the amount. In reality, whatever was the actual output, that data we'll be putting over here. For that output, how many hours should have been taken, at what rate, apart from that amount. Now, once this particular thing is in type, you might have skilled, you might have semi-skilled, you might have unskilled, the categories of labor. Okay, once you all do that, which all variances come, you all have that in your chart number 2 also. In any case, total labor cost variance, broken up now into 3 parts. You all have labor rate variance, you all have labor idle time variance, and then in this case, you all have labor efficiency variance. Labor efficiency variance will be having 2 parts. One of them is labor mix variance. Last of them is labor yield variance. Just to remember, hours that come over here originally in the format are always hours paid for, paid for. Once your idle time variance is over, after that efficiency variance in all these particular variances will only be showing hours worked, because idle time variance will take off the idle hours from here. Okay, that is what we all have done in the last lecture. Now again, just one thing I'm repeating for the second time. Material variances and labor variances always depend upon output, Okay, let's start it off. Next question, confusing question. Do not read the shots of it if you all can. Okay, else the fun in the question will be all over. Okay, so do not do this particular thing. Okay, so read the question. Let's do that. Listen, 100 skilled workmen, 40 semi-skilled workmen, and 60 unskilled workmen were to work for 30 weeks. Okay, to get a contract job completed. Fine. The standard weekly wages, so instead of hours, rate per hour and amount, in this question is going to be weeks, rate per week and amount, were rupees 60, rupees 30 and rupees 24 respectively. The actual job was completed in 32 weeks by 80 skilled workers, 50 semi-skilled workers and 70 unskilled workmen, who were paid at the rate of 65, 40 and 20 respectively as weekly wages. Find the labor cost variance, okay, then labor rate variance, okay, labor mix variance, okay, and labor sub-efficiency variance. Sub-efficiency variance is supposed to be your yield variance, in case you want to be writing. It's printed, I guess, in your chart number 2 also, but in case you all want to be writing. So these are the variances that we have been asked. Now, first of all, you all tell me one thing. Question is on material or labor? Labor, okay. Is there any idle time in this problem? No. If idle time will be there, those guys will give you. If they do not give you, boss, it is 0. Okay, so we'll not talk of the idle time also. Okay, let's start to make a format. Then in that case, we'll try to be thinking further. Right now, please. Given standard, revised standard, actual. In this case, instead of hours rate amount, we are going to be having weeks rate amount. Now, just do one thing. Skilled, leave one line. Semi-skilled, leave one line. Unskilled, leave one line. Now do one thing. Once our data will be put, you will start away with the variances. So total labor cost variance, that is standard labor cost minus actual labor cost. You will be computing it. Second, labor rate variance, standard rate minus actual rate, into, instead of actual hours, we can try to be having actual weeks. You will be computing that thing for skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Third, this I am doing for time pass, not asked I guess in the problem. You can try to be seeing. You all have labor cost variance, I wrote that. Labor rate variance, okay. Now your third variance is supposed to be idle time variance. Idle time is not there. Your fourth variance is supposed to be efficiency variance. Those guys have not asked you the efficiency variance. I'm just computing it, being the first question for the day. So nothing else. Okay. So labor efficiency variance, you can write down not asked. In exams, you all might not be doing it. Now, how is labor efficiency variance done? It is nothing but standard hours. Instead of standard hours, we are going to be having standard weeks. Minus, in this case, actual weeks into which rate we were taking? Standard rate. So into standard rate. You will have skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Fourth, labor mix, or there is one other dangerous name, gang composition variance. Now, what we all used to be doing in that, what should have been the breakup of this? Okay, we'll try to compute that. What was the breakup of this? We multiply that particular thing by standard rate. Okay, so therefore, in this case, standard mix for actual weeks minus actual mix for actual weeks into standard rate. Next, 5 lines divided into 2 parts. On left hand side, obviously we are going to be computing this data only, standard mix for actual weeks. On right hand side, we will try to be computing variance part. Fifth, labor sub-efficiency / yield variance. Now, how does this get computed? How many weeks should have been taken overall? How many weeks were taken into standard weighted average wage rate? So, standard total weeks less actual total weeks into standard weighted average wage rate. That's it. Now see, obviously all these things do depend upon whether you are going to be computing your numbers correct or not. Okay, now you all do one thing. Read your question in the best possible way. This is a good question to be starting off this particular lecture. Okay, so read the question in a proper way. And now what is important? Listen. Labor variances are always dependent upon output. I'm giving you all one hint and listen to that hint in a very proper way. If 2 people work for 3 hours and do a certain thing, do remember that job is not of 3 hours, beta. that job is of 6 hours because 2 people are working for 3 hours for it. You understood what I told? Okay, now apply that and please write by pencil only. Get me all these numbers. Once you get all these numbers, no, just on Calci, you get me the first variance. If your first variance is correct, that means your format is correct. Okay. I give you all 4 minutes. Try to get me in this particular case the answer. Okay. Try to get me the answer. I'm giving you all 4 minutes starting now. Start. I just require the first variance from you to ensure that your format is correct. If somebody can be doing that, good work. Somebody with the first answer. Don't compute the variances, please. Just tell me the first variance.
25.
Sorry, that girl first? No. Yep. Yep. Second one? 'The second answer? 8,800. Okay. We'll just see that. Time over. Listen. Now, in this particular case, listen very carefully, everyone. See, I am just doing whatever the question tells me, nothing from my side. 100 skilled workmen had to work for 30 weeks. If 100 people will work for 30 weeks, that job is not of 30 weeks, boss. That job will be of 3,000 weeks. Is that okay for everybody? We'll be paying for 3,000 weeks, right? So therefore 3,000 will be coming over here. That is 30 into 100. Same way in this case, just don't write for a minute. 30 into 40. So therefore this will be of 1200. Apart from that, 30 into 60. 30 into 60. This data will be 1800. So therefore 6,000. To be paid at the rate of 60, 36, 24. This answer is 266, 400. Those people who have done by this way. Is this total fine? Okay, that is one thing. Now, that is your given. Whatever standard Sam gives me, no, I always have a habit. Just let's put it in given standard. Okay. Now, actual data. In actual, the job was completed in 32 weeks. So, therefore, 32, 32, 32 by how many workmen over here? So, therefore, by 80, 50 and 70, 80, 50 and 70. So therefore this particular data 32 into 80 will be 2560, then 50 should be 1600 and then 70 should be 2240. Okay. This total is 6400 and they were actually paid at what rates here? 65, 40 and 20. This comes to 275, 200. I think so. Okay. Now listen. One thing obviously that matters. Sir, what about the revised standard? For that we have to be discussing output. Now everybody will tell me, everybody, whether you all have got the answer or not. By working for these many number of weeks, okay, by us paying this much to the workers, tell me what had the workers, what they had to be producing? One job. It is given to you in the problem, I guess, very clearly that all these particular things had to be incurred to get a contract job completed. So therefore this entire data is of one job. Okay. And tell me, workers work for 32 weeks, so many workers worked, we paid them this much. Tell me, by working for these many weeks, ultimately in this particular case, workers think, whatever I am saying, by working for so many weeks, okay, workers produced what?
One job only.
The same particular job only, no? Okay, so therefore, one job over here. So therefore, in this question, you all will realize, tell me what is not required? Revised standard, because standard data and actual data are for the same level of output. Is it all fine? So therefore, this thing is not required only as such. Tell me, when we all make a revised standard, when? when this particular data is different from this particular data. If this is only for one job, this is only for one job. That is whatever we all want here. For one job, what should have been the labor cost? For one job, what was the labor cost? Is it all fine for everybody? Okay, you all have got 8 minutes. You all have got 6 minutes to complete this entire question. Please start now. Complete this, complete all the variances, finish. 6 minutes, that's more than enough. First variance is 8800 adverse. If somebody has done the second one, your second variance is what, beta? 10 to 40 adverse. Third that we are doing for time pass, but if somebody has done 1440.
So then I think it's 1440 favorable.
Favorable, okay. Just check these variances, please. I think you all are still doing it only, no?
Yes.
Okay. 2 minutes more I'm giving. Please just try to finish. Done, beta? Just confirm to me, no, that it is done.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Everybody has got this? Okay, listen.
Yes.
Now what I've written in the shorts is exactly the same thing whatever was important in this entire question. Okay, and that is labor variance are dependent upon output. That's okay. Second, standard is for one job. Actual is also for one job. Hence output is same. Revised standard is not required in this question. Okay. Now this is all done. Let's do our question number 15. Now, a new concept. I thought I'll make a question of my own to explain that. Listen, express the output in the problem in form of standard hours. What do you mean by that? We'll solve it right in the textbook only, please. Okay, so therefore standard data is for 1 unit. For 1 unit, worker should have taken how many hours? 2 hours. We'll pay them at the rate of 3. So therefore 6 rupees. In actual, workers have produced 100 units. They took 210 hours. The rate was 4. And total is 840. Obviously, if this was a normal question, everybody will tell me revised standard should have been prepared for 100 units. So write down that thing over here. Write down 100 units. And of course, start to be preparing the revised standard. For 1 unit, 2 hours should have been taken. So for 100 units, how many hours should have been taken? 200. To be paid at the rate of 3, that is 600. Now, what is so different in this question? Actually, nothing. But that difference will start to be coming right now. So, you will do one thing. Listen. Write down over here in your textbook itself. Write down output in units. Below that, you write down the thing that I am interested in now. Write down output in standard hours. Now see, what do you mean by output in standard hours? Now I'll try to speak this particular thing as slow as possible. Try to get it in the first instance, it'll be better. Okay, listen. Now this standard data is for producing how many units? 1 unit. Now instead of saying that word 1 unit, no, I can alternately say what? Either you can express output in terms of physical units, the way that we all have done right now, or you can express it in form of standard hours. How do you do that? Now listen very carefully. Instead of saying that this is a standard data for 1 unit of your product, you can alternately say that this is the standard data for that level of output. This is a standard data for that level of output, which should take 2 hours to complete. Or you can simply say this is a standard data for 2 standard hours of output. So from where did this 2 come? This 2 is this 2 only, beta. But I don't want to be expressing the output in terms of physical units. I want to be expressing that in form of standard hours. Standard hours will mean what? See, workers have produced 1 unit. I don't want to be saying that word. I don't want to be saying workers have produced 1 unit. So therefore, instead of saying that workers have produced one unit, I'm trying to be saying workers have done the job, or workers are supposed to be doing the job for 2 hours. Can I say working for 2 hours is equivalent to making 1 unit in any case? So I don't want to be saying that word 1 unit. Instead of 1 unit, I want to be expressing output in form of standard hours. If you all have still not got it, try to be thinking this. By working for 2 hours, earlier we used to be saying workers should have produced how many units? 1 unit. Now I don't want to be saying that. So now I'll ask you a question. By working for 2 hours, workers should have produced an output of how many hours? By working for 2 hours, workers should have produced an output of how many hours? 2 hours only. That's common sense. If you work for 2 hours, you should try to give the output of 2 hours. Okay. Now this is all done from my side. Now I'm asking you all, don't write. Just listen. Tell me, in reality, workers have produced how many units, boss? 100 units. I don't want to be saying workers have produced 100 units. I want to be saying workers have done the job of these many hours. So what will you suggest? Workers have produced 100 units. So therefore, producing 100 units is equal to how many hours of job? 200. Now obviously that 200 is this particular thing only. And same thing is going to be coming over here also. Workers have produced the things of 200 standard hours. Somebody can be saying, no sir, 210 sir. Okay, obviously not. It will be 200 only. How? Tell me one thing. Workers have produced how many units? 100. I was speaking to my workers. I told them, you all have produced 100 units. Now I don't want to be saying that sentence. So therefore I try to tell them, you all have done the job of, speak further, 200 hours. Although the fact is, for the output that should have taken 200 hours, workers have actually taken, speak, 210. These are beta hours worked. These are hours taken. Okay. Workers have worked for 210 hours, but by working for 210 hours, workers have given an output of 200 hours. In many questions, no, you'll see that in the next question. This particular data will not be there with you. So therefore, instead of expressing output in form of units, you can start to express output in form of standard hours. Now complete fill in the blanks before you'll copy this. Okay, whatever I'm speaking, try to fill in the blanks. My workers have produced an output of dash hours. 200 hours. Everybody can speak. Although for the output which should have taken 200 hours, again answer is 200 hours only. Workers have actually taken 210 hours. Or I'm speaking now in a different way. So therefore you all can think and reply. My workers have worked for 210 hours. But by working for 210 hours, they gave an output of 200 hours. Okay. Now one thing. If I have to be explaining this particular way in slightly a bizarre way, then I can try to be saying like this. Suppose your costing portion I had to be completing in 200 hours. Okay. But with your batch, I took 210 hours. So therefore, I will be thinking like this: by working for 210 hours, speak further. I have done the job of 200 hours only, boss. Okay, so therefore that is whatever I'm going to be speaking. Okay, now you will copy down this, then I'll ask you further things. So therefore I know that you know. Write down this, whatever is in blue. Listen, you all did this question by yourself. Okay, so I can ask you here. You all tell me one thing. I don't want to be saying one job. I don't want to be saying one job. You all can write in your notebooks also if you all want. Tell me, instead of writing one job, you can be writing dash. You tell me that. 6,000 standard weeks. My workers have produced one job. Producing one job is a job of 6,000 standard weeks. Although you all tell me one thing. For the output which should have taken dash weeks, workers have in reality taken dash weeks. 6,000 and 6,400. You all write down 6,000 standard weeks. In case you all have place, you can try to fit it. Now, one more thing before I try to be proceeding. Now, this was a question that we all had done in the last lecture. Okay, question number 12 and question number 13. Come back to your question number 12, please. Now, you all did this question last time. Okay, I think you all had made revised standard for 1 unit. Correct, no? In your notebooks, you will come there. And revised standard was prepared for 5,000 weeks. Let me also just try to remind you of one thing. In that question, there were 1,000 idle hours. Okay, so just wait. So therefore, in that question, you had given standard for 1 unit, revised standard for 5,000 units, actual in this case for 5,000 units. Okay, you have hours rate amount, you had hours rate amount. Okay, I guess this was 10, this was 50,000 and this was 56,000, and do recall that there were 1,000 idle hours. Okay, now first of all you will tell me an easier thing, that will be far better. You will tell me, instead of 1 unit, in case you all want to be writing something else, what will that something else be? 10 standard hours. You all write down. In case you all have place, you all can write down. Else is all fine. Tell me 5,000 units. Producing 5,000 units is a job of how many standard hours? 50,000. So therefore that 50,000 should be coming over here also. That 50,000 should be coming over here also. Now, I'm saying one line with 4 fill in the blanks. Listen to that complete line, then I will repeat it. That time you try to fill in the blanks. In reality, my workers came to the factory for dash hours, although they work for dash hours. But by working for these dash hours, they gave an output of these dash hours. Okay. Now, your job. My workers came to the factory for my workers came to the factory for 56,000 hours. Although they only worked for 55,000 hours because 1,000 hours were idle time, no? So therefore they work for 55,000 hours. But by working for these 55,000 hours, they only gave an output of 50,000 hours. Okay, that's it. If you know that particular thing, then I don't think so next question is going to be that big a problem. Okay, now we are starting question number 15 now. Sorry, question number 16 now, please. Question number 16. We might not write down the formulas. Okay, we all have done that in the first question for today. Now, I don't think so we will be requiring it. Okay, question number 16. Given the following data, compute the variances. Skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Number in standard gang. So, therefore, there should have been 16 skilled workers, 6 semi-skilled workers, 3 unskilled workers. Okay. Standard rate per hour, 3, 2 and 1. Okay. Actual number in gang, 4, 9 and 2. Actual rate of pay, 4, 3 and 2. Okay. In a 40-hour week, the gang as a whole produced 900 standard hours. Okay. So, in a 40-hour week, gang as a whole produced 900 standard hours. You all tell me, in this entire question, which is approximately of 6 lines, do you all see a word called as units? Just asking. No. Do you see a word like job or something? No. So, output cannot be expressed physically in terms of units or in terms of jobs. We'll try to express it in form of standard hours. Okay. You come back to your notebooks, please, and write down. Given standard, revised standard, actual. Write down over here output in standard hours. Hours rate amount, hours rate amount, hours rate amount. Skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Keep on leaving a line over here after each and everything. Now listen. Now once you all complete this, you all write down total labor cost variance. We had just been asked that compute the variances. So variances will mean all variances. Just let me know, do you all see any idle time in this question? No, if idle time will be there, problem will give it to you. If those guys have not given, then it is not there only. Okay, so therefore total labor cost variance. Leave 2 lines. No writing the formula now, please. Labor rate variance, skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Third, labor efficiency variance, skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. Fourth, labor mix variance. You can divide the next 4 lines into 2 parts. Standard mix for actual weeks and variance. And then your last variance, labor yield and sub-efficiency variance. Now, this is one of very fine questions which is there. Okay. Think it will require some brainstorming from you all. Like last time, in case you think your format is correct, I will require the first variance. If your first variance is correct, everything should be correct. But one thing, just one hint from my side, obviously output cannot be expressed in form of units because the units data is not there. Try to express it in form of standard hours. In case you get confused, obviously I have solved one question of this particular concept, question number 15. In case there is any issue, don't see any other question, try to be seeing that particular question itself. Okay. So try to get me the answer. Only the first variance. If that is correct, everything else is correct. You all can start away with the variance after. But do try to tell me the first one. Please start. Just for the trial, 6 minutes is way too high. 4 minutes, you try to get me the answer. Two questions might not be same. Think, we just now did a question. Just now I did a question, so therefore this question you all can try to get it correct. No. No. Your extra time, your overtime is all over. I give you super overtime last minute. Everything is over. Listen now. The time of the world is also over. Listen now. Now you all don't speak. Just let me speak now. That'll be far better. Listen. So, 16 workers, I guess, were supposed to be working for 40 hours in a week. 16 into 40. I guess skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled. 16, 6 and 3. So, I'll write down 6, I'll write down 3. Everybody was supposed to be working for 40 hours. This is absolutely the same concept that was there in the first question. So, therefore, 6 40 hours, therefore 2 40 hours, and therefore 120 hours. Therefore, this is 1000 hours. At the rate of 3, 2 and 1, this is 2520. Okay. That is one thing. First, second. Now, in reality, what happened? There were 14 people, 9 people and 2 people. So, therefore, 14, 9 and 2 people. Okay. Now, see. One line I am speaking and I'll interpret it twice in different way. It is given in a 40-hour week. Now, this line I'm going to be interpreting it twice. In 1 week, workers should have worked for 40 hours. I've written that should have, means this should have happened, means standard data. And next line you'll help me to complete it. And if nothing else is given to you, workers, speak the next line. Should have worked for 40 hours, and if nothing else is given, workers would have worked for 40 hours here. So, therefore, in reality, 14 workers, 9 workers, 2 workers would have worked for 40 hours. Okay. So, therefore, this is 560, this is 360, this is 80, this is 1000. 4, 3 and 2. If somebody has worked out this, I guess this will be coming to 3480. Okay. But obviously, one thing that matters, I'm asking you all, I'm asking to some of the people at least. This data, this particular data and this particular data is same. Do you require a revised standard?
Yes.
Obviously, if they are same, what will I do? Even if they are not same, what will I do? I don't have to be matching them in any case. We always prepare revised standard for actual output. Correct? No? That is what we all have done in all the questions. Correct? No? So, therefore, I require output. Sir, output from where to get? You don't have the word units over here. You don't have the word job over here. So, therefore, in that particular case, output cannot be expressed in form of units or in terms of job. So, therefore, then what to do? Sir, you express it in form of standard hours. What else to do? Okay. Now, everybody will tell me this. Everybody will tell me this. Tell me, given standard is of how many standard hours? Don't even look at your textbook. Common sense. How much? 1000. But that 1000 comes from here only here. Okay, so therefore everybody now writes this particular thing that I am writing, 1000 standard hours. Now there is one thing. Second, But in reality, now this thing you will be getting from the textbook only. Okay, you are not God, you will not be able to find out that particular thing only from here. You all tell me, in reality, workers work for 1000 hours, boss. But by working for 1000 hours, they only gave an output of 900 standard hours. Only at this particular stage, you will realize, sir, outputs are not comparable. Okay, if they are not comparable, you make them comparable, no? Okay, so therefore, now everybody will speak. Revised standard will get prepared for 900 standard hours. Is that all fine? My job is done. You all have totally 4 minutes for this question because no formulas are to be written. You directly prepare your revised standard, get your actual, no extension of the time. Plus in this case, you will have for the next question, question number 17. I know it is supposed to be a homework section question. 13 minutes for that, but you all have done a question right now of that particular type only. So therefore, I give you 10 minutes for it. So 10 minutes plus 4 minutes, you will finish off 2 questions exactly of a similar type only. Okay, please start. 14 minutes you all have for both the questions. Please finish. Ensure that it is done by that much time, no overtime. In case your question does not get completed, you leave it off, you do it off further for homework. In any case, that's supposed to be a homework section question. Please start. Your 5 variances are 1 to 1 to adverse. I hope you all have finished with this part. This is 1000 adverse. Then this is 212 adverse. It is 40 favorable. 252 adverse. Correct? You all should have finished by now, I think. Please proceed over to the next question. Start to finish of that. I've got 7 minutes remaining. In case it does not get over, you will take it further for homework. In any case, some was supposed to be for homework only. I'm increasing the time by 2 minutes. Once your that thing is done, no, make this format for question number 18. In 5 minutes, please do complete your that question and make the format for the next question. Then we'll start. Done, beta? Okay. In absence of information, I assume that it is done. Okay. Just a sec. Now, next question is one combination questions on material and labor, although not every variance is asked, but still I'm just trying to be computing all the variance because that might be the last question that we are doing on material and labor, which is a full-fledged kind of a question. Now, this question, no, originally when I say had asked, originally when it was put in the modules for the first time, that was a question that I have written over here, okay. Then there was some error in this particular question that I had told to the board of studies also that whatever you all have done is terrible. They did not accept it. But when they asked this question again in the RTPs and in the examinations also, they changed the wordings of that based upon whatever we all had told them. Original question is over here, okay, but there was supposed to be a faulty question. I'll tell you all the reason also why once I read it. Okay, let's start. ABC Limited has prepared the following estimations for the month of April. These are the estimates. Okay, estimates means standard data or actual data? Standard. Okay, so these are the budgeted figures. Material A and B, quantity, okay, rate, okay, amount, okay. Skilled hours, unskilled hours. Rate is over here, amount is over here. Normal loss was expected to be 10% of total input. Okay. Normal loss. We already did that in the first question, right, itself. And an idle time of 5% of expected labor was also estimated. Now, you got to be remembering this particular thing. I did that in the last lecture. Do you all remember that hours should always include normal idle time? Yes. Everywhere, your given standard, revised standard and actual data, all of them include normal idle time. So, therefore, if there is normal idle time, there is nothing to be done. In fact, I told you this particular statement also in last 50 years, ICA has never ever asked a question whereby there was normal idle time except this particular question. Now, those guys are saying that an idle time of 5% of expected labor hours, these are the expected labor hours, was also estimated. So, therefore, in this, there is a normal idle time of 5%. If there is, it is okay. In fact, in standard hours, normal idle time should always be there, no? Beta, these particular hours, they always include normal idle time. That is whatever I told you. Although actual data also contains one extra time, which is that time. Abnormal idle time. For that we compute our variance, no? That is labor idle time variance. Correct, no? Okay, now what I am trying to be saying is that this adjustment, no? If this question is left like that only, no? This adjustment actually does not have an effect also. Okay. So, what ICA had done, from 1000 and from 800, no, they removed this 5%, okay, saying that it should be removed, but boss, it should not be removed, okay, all the hours should always include normal idle time, so therefore it should not be removed. I wrote them later, they all did not reply, but then when it was asked in the RTPs and then it was asked in the exams, they changed the wording, so therefore I am happy, I think. So, I am changing those wordings for you all. Now, instead of the word idle time, no, they all wrote down the word downtime. You all write down downtime. Cut out that word idle time, Downtime. If you'll see in the exam, this particular question, no, they all wrote the word as downtime. Now, what do you mean by downtime? See, downtime is not like normal idle time. The normal idle time is lunch break, tea break, those particular things. Okay, workers are supposed to be getting paid for those particular hours. But downtime hours are basically those particular hours whereby the workers will not be working. Why? Because machines in this particular case are suppose, like, we all try to be thinking that suppose machines will become faulty for some time. You all will understand with the experience of business, no, you will realize this particular thing, that there are some amount of downtime that you all can estimate also. Suppose I try to be thinking, we are taking the lectures through these particular systems, okay, they record all our lectures up and so on. I try to be thinking 2 times in a year, no, this system will crash for sure. Based upon your past experience, you can estimate those particular things, no. Now, this particular time includes downtime. Forget about the word idle time. It includes downtime, okay, of 5%. If ever downtime is included, no, then for the purpose of variances, this downtime should be removed because it does not reflect any efficiency or inefficiency on part of the workers, because workers cannot help it off if machines are not there for working. Example, in this case, suppose workers were working and suddenly in this particular case, the machines, they all stop. At that time, it is not workers' fault here. So therefore, such downtimes, if they are included as part of this, no, should always be removed. Okay. Normal idle time should not be removed, beta, because normal idle time is there at all the places. But if there is any downtime, it should be removed. You all understood this?
Yes, sir.
Downtime means that the machines through which the workers work are expected to be stopping to work. I'll give you one example. There are a lot of machines, like, whereby if suppose you work on the machine, say for 5 hours, okay, they will get overheated. We'll have to stop the machine, say for 2 hours, and then again start with the production. So therefore, these things can be estimated also. Now, downtime is on the mistake of the workers. So therefore, for calculation of the variances, these particular hours should always be excluding downtime. Okay, I'm reading further. I'll give you the note of this particular thing towards the end. At the end of the month, the following information has been collected from cost accounting department. Okay, the company has produced 1480 kgs of finished product using the following: material A and B, skilled labor and unskilled labor. Okay, and calculate all these variances. Honestly, they have asked you very limited variances, but being the last question of this particular type, no, okay, I am going to be computing all the variances. And one thing, in exams, if it ever happens, ICA returns to their stupidity and write down over here an idle time, which they should not be writing. They only change that particular thing, which is correct. If they ever go back to that stupidity whereby they write down over here idle time, no, please you interpret the word idle time as downtime only for this particular chapter. Is that all okay? If any idle time is there in part of this, no, okay, interpret that word idle time as downtime and remove that downtime, because that is whatever ICA has done. Okay, let's start. This is a standard data. Let's start to be writing that standard data. I'm going to be completing all the variances. Sorry, I'll be completing all the formats for you. The variances you all can start. So 800, 600, right now 800, 600, 1400 at the rate of 45 and 30, at the rate of 45, 30. Now listen. This thing, if you all remember your first lecture, it will become very easy for me. By inputting 1400 kgs, pick up your calcs and tell me how much output should have come out. By inputting 1400 kgs, how much output should have come out? Take your calc, compute it. It is easy. 1260, because 10% was supposed to be the normal loss. If you all remember, first question, we used to be writing input over here. Less loss gave you output. You all remember that? You want to be writing that again, that's all fine here. Okay, but that is not of much use. What we are interested in is output. So therefore 1400 minus 10%, 1260. Write down over here 1260 kgs of finished goods. Amounts you compute after some time. That's okay. Further. Now, I'm computing this particular data also, 1800, but out of this, no, 5% is supposed to be the downtime, not idle time. If actually I try to solve the question in a correct way, if it was idle time, then idle time should remain, because this must be the normal idle time, the time that is there in your standards, that must be your normal idle time only, boss. Abnormal idle time, you will always come to know after the event has happened, no? Okay, so in any case, originally if the question was there as idle time, correct way is normal idle time should remain in this, but ICA doesn't agree to that. Okay, they say we are interpreting the word idle time as downtime. So therefore, in this, remove your downtime. So therefore, 5% downtime will get removed. So therefore, 950. From 800, we subtract 5%, 760. 950 plus 760, 1710. Workers should have been paid at what rate? 37.5, 22. Amounts are also there only. What stupid person I am. Just copy the amounts also now, yaar. 36,000, 18,000. Yeah. Beta, this downtime no is part of the estimate, so therefore it must be estimated downtime. Abnormal idle time you will come to know after the event has happened. Abnormal idle time can only be there in actual data, no? Abnormal idle time cannot be there in standard data, no? Abnormal means you went for your costing paper, okay? You were thinking out of 6 questions, I will be able to attempt 5. So therefore, 1 was supposed to be normal loss, okay? But you could attempt 3, okay? So out of 5 that you thought you will be able to attempt, you attempted 3. So 2 is abnormal loss. When will you come to know about the abnormal loss? Before the paper or after the paper? After the paper, na? When you get the paper. So abnormal things you'll come to be knowing, like, you know, only in the actual data. But this is that particular data which is there as part of the standard data. Okay, so therefore that will have to be removed. Okay. Okay. Just a sec. This figure I've written wrong. 950. $35,625. 15,840. Now see, everybody tells me one other thing. Tell me, what was your actual output? 1480. So write down over here 1480 kgs. So how much material, labor? 900, 600, sorry, 650. 1200, 860. Obviously, these hours don't include any other thing now. Nothing has been given to you. This is the end of the problem here. 43. 38,700, 32.5, 21.25, 35.5, 42,600, 23, 19,780. After some time, you all can prepare your revised standard, but I am giving you all the notes further because after this, the work can be done by you all. You all write down over here 1, 1. And write down. After your last variance, you will require around 3 lines to be doing it, and write down 1. Write down. standard data of labor should include normal idle time but should exclude downtime for calculation of variances. In exams, if words of ICAI are idle time, then interpret them as downtime. In exams, if words of ICAI are idle time, then interpret them as downtime. Okay, now you all start. In 10 minutes, you will finish off this particular question in 12 minutes. Okay, and I'm preparing the format for the next question. So once that is done, start to prepare the format for question number 20. Okay, for question number 19, once your 18 is done, for 19, you all leave one side that is supposed to be done for homework. Finish off this, prepare your revised standard, finish off all the variances. No writing the formulas, just try to finish it off fast. Okay, once that is done, leave a side for question number 19 and then prepare the format for question number 20 that I am preparing. Please finish in this much time, please. As your that question is finished. If somebody can tell me all the 10 variances of material and labor of the previous question, please. Or you all complete this, then I will try to make the format. Is that question done? Because else you all will require more amount of time. Is that question done or you all are still doing it? Okay. But that question is done. Just confirm it to me, please. That question is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just copy down this, then we'll start. Just let me know when I can start, please. Now enough time has passed.
Done, sir.
Done. Okay. Last 30 seconds to anybody who is not done.